All right, now we're going to go ahead and go to the very last one. And I'm going to show you a couple articles because I'm going to show you how ridiculous the media is. And this is a Time article, Why Your Brain Thinks This Picture Shows a Giant Martian Crab Monster. This is the picture of what they're showing. Here is the original. This is from NASA. So when this news came out and I saw this, I was blown away. And this picture I'm going to show you is going to link to something in the book of Revelation, which is, to me, it's kind of terrifying, but it's a theory. But the reality is there are things that are alive on Mars, period. So this article goes into, our brain is seeing things, Well, if that's the case, then we should debunk a lot of pictures that we see coming from our own satellites on Earth then. When they take pictures, archaeological excavations, when they take satellite imagery, then we should say, no, that can't be, no, we're just seeing things. That's the way I see it. But like I told you before, clear your mind of everything. This is an article by Gizmo, and this guy, Robbie Gonzalez, who wrote this, NASA totally found an alien crab on Mars that didn't tell anybody. And he has here on that same picture, and it has not a crab, but he has not scribbled out there. Yeah, NASA totally found an alien crab on Mars and didn't tell anybody. And then get this, then they accidentally posted a picture of it online. And then some people spotted it and called it a crab. In a way, he's joking about it, and this is a close-up. You get it even closer. Now, before you look at that, if you look at the landscape here, right, you see the landscape that's around this particular image, because that's where it's at right there, right? And I'm going to tell you something. This thing is huge. This thing is huge. I would probably estimate, just from looking at this, that this thing is the size of probably a human being. It's one of the reasons why we can't just be sending people to Mars. That's one thing I would be concerned about. All right, so this is directly from NASA. So I go back to the article, and he just talks about, he's blowing it up. It says here, this journalist says it does appear alive. Maybe a crab-like animal, or it may be a plant. Well, I doubt it's very much a plant once we get done with this. And then he says, well, maybe it's just a rock, a case of pareidolia. Nah, scratch that. Definitely a space crab. All right. So there's a close-up, and I'm going to do my own analysis on this and get close up. So this picture here, I'm going to do the same thing like I did with the other one. All right, and you can see it's only 1,344 by 1,200, so this is obviously not the highest resolution that NASA is giving us. All right, you can see this image here on my computer here. I'm not going to get a very good shot of it. I've actually had to download the pictures from another person who has done a very extensive, he was able to really blow it up. Just so I can show you guys a close-up there. All right, so this is what I've done. I took the picture, and I did like a photo analysis where, you change the auto levels, you change the brightness, you do this, you do that. You don't change the picture itself at all, right? So I go here, or as you look here, it's this, whatever this thing is here, it's guarding the entrance to a cave. It probably heard the rover and it came out. Now, as you can see here, there was identifying some type of legs, some type of head. All right, and this was on the auto level. All right, this one was like I brightened it up again. You can see some of the outline features. This one is a black and white ink sketch. All right, so you can see here again, it's identifying the legs. I think the most important thing is the legs and some kind of tail hook here. This is a black and white invert. You can see the legs, the detail. Now this is just standard black and white. Again, you can see even more clearly legs. Now I'm going to say something, especially for those who do believe in God, whether if you believe the God of the Bible, but there is creation. There's creation all over the universe. There's billions of Earth-like planets. And there's planets, and you already know that there are some animals that can survive the hardest conditions. They can survive, 0 degree weather, and there are things that can survive in very extreme heat. And of course, you could do a comparison of crab. Now, I tried to do some research to see if I could find a picture of a crab like doing the same thing, maybe guarding some type of entrance, but I couldn't find one. This is called hue. It's a filter, a hue filter. All right, there again, see the legs. This is just a normal picture here. This is called a soften, where I try to bring out some of the more rigid details. Right, there you go, leg. And you notice where all the legs are. It's on the entrance of the cave. Now, here's the rock here, here's the rock here. This thing looks nothing like the environment around it at all whatsoever. Nothing like it. Almost looks like it has a face on the front of this thing. And that's where my theory is going to come in. I just wish that NASA would release the actual highest resolution so we can actually take a look to see exactly what we have there. Okay, we have a pencil sketch. And again, you don't see anything around that. You guys know that there's a hole there that it's guarding. All right, this one is super bright. All right, there again, we can see the detailed features. There's the leg here, holding itself. It's holding itself on the rock on the entrance of a cave. All right, this is called that auto level. And here I've identified leg 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so, and then what we would see normally maybe is maybe some kind of stinger because it's curled. It's not hanging on a wall. It may be some kind of stinger. What does this all mean? Before I get into the theory of the scripture in the Bible that describes this thing. Some of the things that I've shown you, I'm just laying the groundwork for the evidence of the war in heaven, because when we really get into what happened on Mars, when you guys really see the things that I have seen, I'm talking about defined structures. I'm not talking about rocks that look like things. I'm talking about defined edges, sharp triangles, squares. And there's even one with writing on it. Distinct writing. And I will get that like I said, I will get that within this series of evidence for the war in heaven. We're also talking about humanoid type bones and also live creatures. This is just one of them. The media has done a very good job covering for the previous administrations, people who led NASA. Revelation chapter 9, and the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. All right, so we're talking about an angel, a star, who fell from heaven onto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, and the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit. Now, first of all, we have to identify what is the bottomless pit. It's something that keeps going and going and going and going. And they had to have a key to open it. And there came out smoke, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. And unto them was given power, as scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded unto them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men who have not had the seal of God on their foreheads. And it was given to them that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was of the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Wow, isn't that interesting? That's a whole nother video. When you try to kill yourself and you can't. And the shapes of the locusts were unto like horses prepared unto battle. And on their heads were crowns of gold, and their faces were like the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of a woman, and their teeth were as teeth of lions. And they had breastplates as were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tail, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which was the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in Greek tongue his name is Apollyon. One woe was past, and behold, there come 2 more woes hereafter. All right. So what I'm looking at here, first of all, the bottomless pit. My theory that the bottomless pit, which needed a key to be opened, is actually some type of portal that allows these creatures to come up and invade the earth, because the pit is bottomless, right? There's no end. You just keep going and going and going. So it is a theory of mine that the bottomless pit is actually a portal from somewhere else. Could be from Mars, or could be from somewhere else totally different. All right. And the shapes of the locusts were unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were crowns of like gold, and their faces were like the faces of men. And they had hair like the hair of a woman, and their teeth were teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, and it was breastplates of iron, and the sound of the wings was the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and they were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Now, I'm really going to get into this. Now, this is just a theory. This thing could just be a creature, right? Revelation chapter 9, locusts, scorpions, Mars, rover, crab. So, under the shape of locusts were the horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads was like a crown like gold. Now here, like I said, it's very difficult to see. With a crown, and they had the faces like men, okay, face like a man, okay. Now, like I said, this is the best image that NASA has given us. So, this picture here does look like a face of a man. And they had hair like the hair of a woman. You can see all around this thing. Right? The hair, which could be like the hair like a woman. All right. And I don't know if this thing has wings or not. It very well could be. And then here they had the tail like on the scorpions. And there were stings in their tails. Okay. So here's the tail. And on the very end is a stinger. Here are the scorpion-like legs. Right? Scorpion-like legs, the face of a man, the hair like a woman, the crown on the head. Like I said, it's really hard to see. So that is my theory, and this is the beginning of what I'm going to be showing you about the war in heaven. But I have to lay out the groundwork. I have to show you guys the things that have been found on Mars and the things that are alive on Mars. And I'm going to show you structure after structure after structure. I am talking about obvious, right there in front of the camera, blocks of stone. There are craft that are on Mars, or humanoid like bones on Mars. And let me tell you something, and I'm going to show you in other videos. Humans were not the only intelligent beings that were not eternal. Angelic beings are eternal. The Bible says that God put the angels in charge over human beings, like to watch over us, right? Help to guide us. You not think that out of all of God's creations, all over all the different planets, especially planets that are similar to the earth, that there's no other creations, no other beings? It said that Satan took a third of heaven. But he also took a third of intelligent, eternal beings that lived and died. Because I'm going to show you that. This thing is crazy. It's probably one of the most well-known rover pictures of Mars, and it's not a rock. Anyways, guys, tell me what you think below. We're really going to get into this, and we're going to get into this really, really deep. And I'm going to show you guys biblically about the war in heaven. There's many references in the Bible that you may skip over when you read it. Maybe it's obviously it's never been taught, but there was a war in heaven. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Look out for more coming in the future. Don't forget, we have a Patreon. If you guys want to donate to help me so I can continue to make these videos, I'm trying to build it up. It's not just for the videos, it's also for the Grigori project too as well. Like I was telling you guys, it's not just about the donations, not just about making videos. And I've posted this video before on my YouTube. And it's the thing that really got me into science fiction in the first place, and my interest in what was in the heavens. Because I saw a massive UFO right above me, and I was like 10 years old. This thing was so huge, it didn't look like anything that I had ever seen before. My dad was in the military, and this was when Chanute Air Force Base was still around. And we saw many, many aircrafts. This is nothing, and it was massive, and it was directly above me. And one of the things that I've done, I've written stories. This one is called Nibiru, all right? And it's a science fiction, and it's just one of the stories that we're working on to get it into animation production. And it's going to deal with a lot of the stuff that I'm discussing today. So if you guys really want to see it, you can donate. If you want to make just one-time donations to PayPal, you can do that. And also, you can sign up for the Patreon, and you can watch me as the progress goes on with these projects.